say it's like the best of Walla Walla and Columbia Valley attributes. This, as you see, it's exposed because it's not a hot site like Red Mountain is. Warm site. It's sustainable from year to year. We have a freeze except for the '04 one. You made it through the November one. And you guys had the 2007 last night, Walla Walla Merlot. That's from this block right here, and it's a lot of body, very fleshy, very jammy, fruity wine. It still has that terroir earthiness of Walla Walla, which I always go back to. And I'm not the soil expert, but it's like there's more silt. And the soil's down here, a little bit more rainfall, and you get that earthiness, herbal characteristics along with the fruit that I don't necessarily get out of the very sandy soils of some of Columbia Valley. But it's nice and warm here. You can see
this is really
what we call Merlot Block 1. This is kind of one of our better Merlot blocks here in the Walla Walla Valley. Usually every year makes the Walla Walla blend for Murph. It was planted in 2002. It's Merlot Clone 3. This is a live salmon safe certified vineyard that is a third party, that we farm sustainably. It shows that we use soft chemicals with the environment in mind. Its elevation here is about 1,000 feet, and typically we get about 10 to 13 inches of rainfall. That's one of the things here in Walla Walla. What this block stands out is the rainfall we get is all in the spring and winter time, and that's pretty low for the Walla Walla Valley up here on kind of the most southern border of the valley. So with that, we're able to really control the canopy growth, which still requires a little bit of irrigation, but we give it just enough to get the canopy growth that you see out here. Now the vines are kind of shutting down in the vegetative growth stage. And now we're kind of just spoon feeding them just enough water to ripen the fruit and keep the vines alive. That's one of the reasons why this area stands out, because in most of the rest of the valley, you get a lot more rainfall, deeper soils and stuff like that, so controlling the canopy growth is a little bit more difficult, and they tend to get more vegetative flavors. Another thing that stands out about this particular vineyard is we get about 3,000 heat units versus the rest of the Walla Walla Valley, which get about 2,800. Warmer weather helps us shut the canopy growth down once again, with the lack of rainfall. And it also, allows us a longer growing season to ripen the fruit. We can hang stuff out here longer into October and sometimes even in November if we have to. 3,000 heat units, that's kind of same on track with like the Horse Heaven Hills area and the Walluke Slope. Not quite as warm as the Red Mountain area that you guys were at earlier. Geology, kind of how this was all formed. This was millions of years ago. We had these massive lava flows that covered the ground with about, thousands of feet of basalt. And then since, we've got this wind-blown loess soil that's just kind of deposited over time on top. And it's a Walla Walla silt loam soil. It's great drainage, very fertile soil. We average anywhere from about 4 to 5 feet deep. Another great thing is up here on the hill, we got great air drainage, with most of the valleys down low. We got this great air drainage, during the winter time when we had, like this last winter, we had some really cold winter temperatures, and this allowed us to, sustain those winter temperatures, stayed a little bit warmer up here where the cold air drains downhill. So most of the vineyards on the valley floor had this significant damage where we virtually had none in this block. So we're able to have like a normal crop load like what we're hanging right now. It also allows us, gives us some protection in spring and fall frosts, so it does give us a longer growing season. Some of the VIP practices that we do here, we aggressively hand prune everything to kind of space everything out, so you don't have these massive clumps of shoots and stuff like that. It gives the fruit good exposure to the sun. Irrigation, which I already talked about, we give it just enough for the vines to survive. And leafing. We aggressively leaf on this side of the canopy to expose the fruit to the sun. This is the shaded side, so we get fruit exposed more to the sun. It kind of burns out those green flavors and gives us more riper, more fruit-forward flavors that we look for.
Notice that difference between that and the Red Mountain where I was dapple and everything hanging, and this is exposed.
Another reason for the extra exposure too, on like a high cool moist or high moisture year like what we've endured, you know, the tendency for mildew is kind of higher. This kind of keeps things open, keeps the airflow in and out, you know. So we haven't, crossed our fingers, have a mildew issue up here yet, and I hope we won't. You know, we'll look at our crop loads about this time of year, and then we'll establish, you know, do we need to go in and thin? Because we like to hang like a low crop load, about 2.5 tons per acre. It's kind of what we feel like is the sweet spot in, you know, getting the most optimal fruit that we can out of here for Murph. We hand harvest everything. It's picked at about 25 to 28 bricks, mainly by winemaker taste, you know. Whenever he feels the flavors are out here, he says pick. So I tell Ken, the grower, he picks, you know. Another great thing why this vineyard stands out is the growers. I'm just kind of the viticulturist. We don't own this vineyard, it's the growers. They're very experienced, you know, they got a very experienced crew. Anything that we ask for, they have no problems doing. They go the extra mile for us, day in, day out. So that's about it.
How long have we been working with this vineyard?
This was planted, we contracted it from its planting, and in 2002 it was planted, and we got it trained out, they got it trained out in 2004, and then it kind of froze back down to the ground. So I think 2005 was its first fruiting year.